Hey guys, have you ever asked yourself how we even beat Cry of Fear in under 50 minutes? Well, because over the years the speedrunning community has found so many tricks and skips to do exactly that. And in this video, I will show you all of them. So, before starting this video, yes, this is kind of a tutorial again. Although I mentioned in my last video that I want to do some general videos about this, and I will, don't worry, but I have noticed that there is no video or wiki that just contains all the tricks you want to know about this game. So I will do it, and go from the easier tricks to the hardest ones later in the video. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So, I will be starting off with the most simple tricks, and the first thing I want to show is all the predetermined stuff in this game. For example, this door has a keypad in which you need to type in a code. In a normal playthrough, you would go to this newspaper and call this number. The guy on the phone will then tell you the code.
Hello?
And this code never changes, so we don't need to call him. The same goes for this door in the cave. The note in this area will tell you that the door has the code 279 with the last number not being readable. The game randomly generates the last number, so the last digit could be anything between 1 and 9. Speaking of experience, I recommend typing the code a bit more slowly but precise, so you don't have to go through all code numbers again because you misclicked once. Later on in the game, you will get into this room with 4 doors, each having a picture, and you have to go through all doors in the right order. The order is car, wheelchair, gun, and book. In the asylum part of the game is this generator you need to turn on by just flipping those from left to right. Also in the asylum part there will be a phone number you need to call, and you find this number through those plates. We have found out that you just need the first plate because there are only 3 variants and you just have to look at the last digit of the first plate. Here are all 3 numbers and the last digit corresponding to it. Next up are some triggers you can easily avoid. I bet that most of you, myself included, thought that these enemies spawn randomly. But actually, they spawn due to the trigger, which is colored blue here. If you touch that trigger, they will spawn. So when you enter this room, you can just stand still and grab the saw and get out without them ever spawning. The same scenario also appears in the subway train when you pick up the hammer. You can stop by this pole and grab the hammer without touching the trigger. This will prevent the spawn of this guy blocking you on your way back. There's also a trigger in the map called C_down, where you are in a long hallway with the doctor having a monologue. This green field is a trigger that teleports you back so you don't reach the door until the dog stops speaking. In speedrunning sense, we just want to stop right before the trigger so we are as close to the door as possible when the trigger disappears. Now I want to quickly cover some useful hotkeys you can bind via the console commands. There is inventory use, which means you can bind any key to a certain inventory slot and use a key item without going into the inventory. There's also inventory drop, which drops an item without going into the inventory. The trick here is that you can drop items in a cutscene with this, and we always use that in the asylum part when we give the weapon to the doctor. We do that so we can pick up the gun again and use it in the boss fight because this gun does more damage. You can go check the guide tab on our speedrun site for useful commands like these. Oh, and yeah, before I forget, you can uncap your FPS with the command developer1 and then setting your FPS max to whatever. This will result in enemies turning very slowly so you can get by them. This is a useful strategy for no unlockables to get by the saw runner. Aside from the key bindings, you can use your FOV setting in this cutscene to zoom into the number without using the telescope to see it. And then you can crank your FOV all the way up again. What? Wie habe ich das angestellt? You can also turn water shader on for the boat section, but only if you have trouble with frame rates, because the boat turns slower when you're having lower frame rates. And don't forget to turn it off as soon as the boat map ends, or else this will happen to you. Also, if you don't want to watch the entire train cutscene 100 times, you can type in host frame rate 0.1. This accelerates the game by a lot, so make sure you turn it off before the cutscene ends. Okay, now we are slowly moving into the more juicy bits. A trick you can do in the maze boss fight is to crouch jump onto the valve next to the door here. So when he dies, you can avoid damage and get to the door instantly. There is a trick with doors here to skip the loading, but I will come back to that a bit later on. There are also some surfaces you can avoid bonking on by simply pressing the crouching button. It's like a 0.1 second time save, but I thought I'd just mention it to preface how much of a game changer crouching can be sometimes. There are also ledges in this game, like in this area for example, where you can just dodge and crouch and get momentum because the hitbox changes instantly when crouched mid-air, instead of slowly going down when crouching normally, as you can see here. The same goes for just dodging downwards when mid-air. You just keep the momentum and it's perfect for hopping afterwards. Speaking of dodging and dodge jumping, there are many tricks you can do with just a dodge or a dodge jump. For example, when you dodge down these escalators, you can kind of bounce and get down much faster. You can also dodge upwards and even leap from them, as well as stairs, and continuously hop with the momentum. When you have stairs like these, you can dodge down and you just kinda slide and therefore get down faster. In the tunnels is this little platforming section where you can just dodge crouch jump straight to the vent. When you are on top of the train wreck, you can avoid a cutscene trigger by dodge jumping around it. You also have to make sure that you quickly get to the next area because the cutscenes will still play after a certain amount of time. If you're falling down a ladder for example, you can do a dodge jump to prevent the fall damage animation and instantly move on. You can also dodge crouch jump into this vent to get a little boost. Both of these timings are a bit precise, but save several seconds. The last useful trick you can do with dodge jumping is getting past these guys in the tunnels by dodge jumping along the wall. Oh, and while we are here already, there's a timing where Simon waves his arms while swimming, and when you press your sprint key at the moment Simon waves his arms, you get boosted forwards. A higher FOV makes this easier so you can see the arms early into the animation. Now, the next skip was so influential that it changed the entire landscape of Cry of Fear speedrunning. It was invented by JOAL, and it's really hard. See, you have to get to this rock and kinda dodge jump against it to launch over this wall. Yeah, okay, yeah. You may think that this is like nothing special, but what if I told you that this is the catalyst for the lake skip? Okay, sorry guys, I lied. There is no lake skip yet. Though I will get out of the flow of this video for a second and show you something. You see, what's so frustrating is the fact that the lake skip is so goddamn close, it's unreal. But maybe sharing my footage here will somehow maybe give someone an idea and hey, maybe we'll find something. I'm not a programming guy or anything, I'm just messing around in editing, you know. So it is possible to get up here because of the JOAL skip, and you can walk all the way to the door which leads you to the lake map. I will also show you the hitboxes of the wall right now with this map, which shows the exact collision of the entire map you're in. See how it completely surrounds the area, so there's no way to get by here. You practically have to use the door to get into the lake map, and sadly no one has found a way to even get up to this wall again. Again, I will show you the hitboxes, and it's possible to jump into a corner and get stuck mid-air, but you can't jump mid-air, so you just fall down. For the sake of showing you what could be possible if we somehow could be on top of this wall, or even the door, I will now go cheat my way up to this wall. And that's all I need to skip the entire lake section. We can just go around the entire lake and back here at the house, and we can sneak in from behind and get into this load trigger which will load this map. So yeah, if we find a way to somehow glitch ourselves up to this wall or this door, we would have a lake skip, and therefore an entire minute saved. Anyway, back to the tricks. So throughout the game you can interact with doors or items through walls. This is like really huge for some certain big skips, which I will come back to. Just know that it's possible to interact with some stuff in the game through walls, even when you're out of bounds, so to speak. There are some places where enemies will block your path and you have to alert them so you can pass them. For example, this baby here will block you until its death animation is done. Though when you stand here and let it move to you, you can pass it by the wall. In a more forward case, we have this thing. You would have to back up a bit and hug the wall so this guy moves to you and away from the center of the hallway, so you can pass him. Same thing applies to this guy, let him walk away from the center and pass him, and don't forget killing him because you will backtrack here. The last easy trick on my script is the usage of a syringe while hopping. So what I mean is that you can use a syringe while you're hopping without losing speed. Though it's maybe a little bit hard to get this right, because you can only use a syringe when your character hits the ground, so you have to be able to jump and use the syringe at the same time. We mostly use this to gain stamina, and while I'm at it, something you should know is that the stamina only regenerates the amount of your missing health. So, when you're at 100 HP for example, you will get no stamina from a syringe. An exception to this is the end part of the game, because for some reason, at this part of the swimming section you will always gain full stamina back, no matter the health. So using the syringe while hopping is especially useful here. I would guess that the reason behind this may be the water glitch, which I will come to in a bit, or some other weird glitch, because when I load into the swimming map and get to the village afterwards, the stamina region doesn't work. Maybe also because of the missing health from the doctor cutscene, I don't know, let's move on. Remember when I said earlier that you can skip some door cutscenes? Right, usually when interacting with doors you will always get a fade in and fade out load screen. But what happens when you enter a door while a cutscene plays and instantly skip the cutscene? Well, that's the trick. You will skip the fade load and be on the other side. This happens because you never really load, you just get teleported to the other side of the door and usually wait for the fading to end. That's why we can already move while the cutscene plays and therefore even stand here instead of in front of the door. This is also possible with all the other skippable cutscenes, which means you can skip a cutscene and directly move after it, even if you're still in a loading-ish scene. A similar trick to this is also possible at the Carcass boss fight. When you kill the Carcass boss, you can go to the edge here and click on yes. Usually Simon would escape and this would trigger a different ending, but when you kill Carcass and escape directly after, it still counts as if Carcass is dead. And then you can skip the cutscene of escaping and you will instantly land here. The next trick is part of a huge skip, but in itself is used 3 times in the entire game. The first time is in the apartments, and you will see what I mean. So as you saw right here, the AI activated the TV cutscene. And I have no clue why this is possible, but the AI can just trigger a cutscene by just punching it. I will explain later why this saves so much time, but for now I will keep to the trick. The second time is before the flooded apartments, in which he can build a ladder for us, so we don't have to use it ourselves and we can place it on the other side. This prevents us from going all the way to the basement and getting the ladder from there. The third time is in the forest. Instead of going around and alerting every single crazy runner and collecting the scissor parts, you can let the rope get cut by them. Little weird to set up. Most consistent way is just going in front of it, wait for an enemy attack and just crouch jump. Okay, so before getting to the most significant skips of this game, I will now cover the last 2 tricks. So, when you reach the ending, you can reduce your FPS to 20 with the commands which I talked about earlier. This makes it easier to be quick on the wheelchair. See, you can constantly press W in a certain timing to move much faster than usual. For the next and last trick, I will pull out the triggers again. So in this section, you have to avoid the trees. And the triggers here show exactly where they will, let's just say, drop, and they will block us. So here's a path you can take in speedrunning which will avoid them. Okay, quickly before moving on to the bigger stuff, I just want to say thank you. The feedback on my last video really blew me away. Riggy even reacted to it.
Bro, you're a goat.
And the video got posted into the announcement tab of our Discord. Thanks, Kyanite.
The good part of this section is that you get to beat up a disabled person.
Anyway, let's move on. So, first things first, water glitch. The water glitch is a trick where you can glitch your character to stop using stamina when jumping. This allows for infinite bee hopping, and I don't think I need to preface how huge that is. We know has found this trick in January 2023. Now check this. This is me, nearly 4 years ago, and oh my god, I didn't know how to bee hop. But I already had this water glitch, though I did it on accident and I didn't know how I have done it, nor how it works, and I hated it back then, because it ruined the immersion for me. Well, now, it's a blessing, and I will let Reno explain to you how you do it.
On this door right here. So you click your space bar, the jump button, and then crouch. It's gonna look like this. So as you can see, you have to jump on this door. After you've done that, you go here and you check. See? There's no stamina drain. I can go in any location further into the game, and there will be no stamina drain.
Except for the ending part of the game. When you get to the swimming section here, you will lose the effects of the water glitch. But it's so close to the end of the run, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so what I think is happening here, with the water glitch, is that the game still thinks that you're in the midst of going up while being in water, and doing that doesn't drain stamina, so even when you're jumping, there's no stamina being drained, because the jump action doesn't drain stamina when using it in water. That would maybe explain why your animations for jumping are completely gone, as the game doesn't consider your character in a mid-air stasis anymore. But that's just a theory. This is not really a skip, so to say, but rather a hard thing which you can do but could result in quick death. Basically, as soon as you enter this trigger, the doors will begin their respective timers. You can also hop around while being crouched to get quickly through here, and you basically have to completely YOLO it. There are two doors which have the longest waiting period, and you really want to get by them before they close, with you having to wait ages. So it's really just quickly dodge jumping through, and for the other doors I do recommend being a bit more cautious because they have a faster waiting period. And I don't think there's that much more to say about this. Oh, the train skip. My first time seeing it in a run scared me, and I thought that this was really hard to pull off. But actually, it's the opposite. It's really easy, and I guess I will quickly go through the entire train section for some clarity. So, when you're on a train, you have to get through some carriages before you can begin the train skip. Always kill this guy and jump over him because we have to backtrack here. So, this is the room where we will pull it off. There will be a guy jumping through the window, which blocks this area for a moment. But we can go around and get through this window and get outside of the train. No worries of getting left behind cause the entire ground moves with you, so you can stand still and get dragged along. Now you can just get the foot from the outside and go all the way to the door. And then you can just backtrack to the place where you need to put the foot in, and that's it. Right before the apartments is a little scaffolding you need to climb up to get into the apartments. Usually there's a path which you need to follow to get here, but there's a faster way, which might need some practice. You can just get onto the wooden board here, and onto the pole, and you can crouch jump to the ladder from there. Then you can just crouch jump here and reach the apartment's door through the ceiling. It's a rather small skip, but takes some time to get it down consistently. The absolute opposite of small though is the skip which comes immediately after entering the apartments. Okay, hold on. This skip is like really huge, so I need to explain because I just want you to understand what a normal playthrough looks like. And how we completely skipped it. So bear with me for a moment. So the apartments is a really big part of the game, and you fight yourself through all the floors to eventually get to the 4th floor. To meet this guy in a tub. To get down all the way to the basement to get a tape, find a TV, and watch the video with a code so you can call the elevator of the apartments. It took me about 5 minutes to do all that, and well, fuck these paths, because we got our own. So first you can get onto this railing and crouch jump into the roof here and get through the door above. I shit you not, this alone skips about 2 minutes. After skipping the cutscene, you can grab the rope through the wall by crouching a bit back and looking completely to the right. You can hotkey use the rope and instantly use the rope before the cutscene plays to skip both cutscenes and go onto the next door. After moving through all this comes this TV skip, which I already mentioned. And again, this alone saves 2 minutes again, which means this whole apartment skip easily saves 3 to 4 minutes. Incredible, man. I will definitely look more into this for my next big video. Anyway, for you to know the code to the elevator, you need to click the TV again to see this message appearing, which tells you the code for the elevator so you can go on with the run. Next up is the park skip. I remember seeing this skip for the first time in a popular run from Nixie Shiot, and I was just blown away. So you have to dodge jump onto the statue and definitely crouch, or else you won't get onto the hitbox of the statue. Then you can dodge jump over this wall and get on top of this. Crouch a bit along and jump to the right and through the trigger, which will automatically load you into the next map. There are also other and even faster ways to do this. For example, you can jump onto the statue and immediately jump again to get over the wall. Or you can dodge jump onto the fence and directly go for the trigger. All methods are completely fine, and the fastest is the one where you go directly for the trigger. But it's also the hardest to pull off, so you can go for what fits you best. Roof skip. Yeah, the skip that ruined every run I pulled off. At least if you do it the hardest and fastest way, but Hey, relax, okay? I'll come to it. So we want to skip this entire section, and there are two methods to this. The first one is going to this roof, and from there you can jump onto the edge of the other roof. You can sprint and crouch jump, or dodge jump. Either way, you then need to get to this cutscene trigger. So you can begin to fight Joe Biden.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
The faster way is dodge jumping against the slope, and when you nail a really good dodge jump, you get boosted up enough to be able to crouch on the edge of the roof and land here. We call this the Riggy skip. Although I'm confused why, because apparently the trick was found by Darla, but Riggy is consistently doing it in his runs, so I guess it washed over.
Yep.
Little bonus here, there is a way to get down off the roofs without dying. See this trigger? When you touch it, death. But back here you can pass this and get to this darkish blue trigger which will load the garden map. In itself a really cool skip, but if we compare it to the other route you can clearly see that this is slower. And to all the guys out there who are running this game, you may hate this part right here. I mean obviously, cause you have to wait a minute here without skipping or moving. Well, don't worry any further, you can skip it. You just have to use this guy to get up to the bus. Jump into the garden, get the shovel, jump on the side of this bench, then on top of this yellow container, onto the wall, check the hitbox, bench hitbox. Onto the bench and over this wall, get the key, get the guy here and use him to climb back over. Perfect! You skip Sophie's call. Now we can just go back and open the... Wait, what? What do you mean the phone is ringing? Okay, whatever. Just repeat the same crap from before. Now just get the card and off we go! What? How are you even calling me? You're dead.
Hello?
Wait, what is this guy doing there? What? Oh! Okay, get the card and up to the wall again. But now with extra jumps. And let's go! Oh. Oh fuck, I forgot. Wait. So the trigger disappeared. Wow. Wait, what? I don't even have phone battery. Well, I guess that confirms that you can't escape the phone call from Sophie, which is yeah, pretty stupid. Okay, while editing this video, I just recently found out from a video from Dollar that the phone call trigger just disappears when using the reconnect command here. It's illegitimate, obviously, but I thought I'd mention it. Yeah, so to conclude this long ass part, the Sophie skip is not really possible. And if it were to be possible, I don't think it's worth it, so yeah. Check out the playlist of _smiley. He found some of these crazy ways and I took my knowledge from those. Link is in the description. The second scaffolding is right before the college part and is a bit similar to the one before the apartment. So usually you will parkour your way along the planks and in and out of some apartments so you can get through this window to proceed. Straight back to the beginning of the parkour and you can jump onto this container, get up to this lamp, and then you have to be slightly on the edge to the right of this lamp and dodge jump forwards to get here. If you're not enough on the edge here, you will get stopped by this little spike hitbox. So, when you get here, you can just dodge jump over the railing and that's it. Easily half a minute saved. Okay, nightmare skip. So, this is, I think, the shortest big skip in this video, because there's not that much to say about this. Basically, you're in this weird structure, and you just have to jump over this platform, which is at the end of the parkour. There's some ways to do it. Some guys dodge up and strafe to the platform, other guys hop to the skip and up and over, which is also the hardest and fastest way to do it. I always align myself a bit and dodge jump over. It's the easiest and quickest one for me. It's difficult to perform, but there's not much more to this. Maze skip. So this is the last skip for this video, and I would say this is a top contender for being the hardest one to pull off. No crazy shenanigans, no glitching or breaking the game or anything like that. You just have to move very smoothly and fast to the maze in a certain path, which you just have to learn. because it's a path that's perfectly lined up to get to the end of the maze without having to wait for one of these guys. And the reason why you have to be so fast is because you will meet this guy at the end, and if you're fast enough, you will get here before him. And you can go on without waiting behind him. This skip doesn't save as much time as the other more game-breaking skips, but the near-perfect movement you'd have to pull off here makes this incredibly hard. Overall though, it's hard to tell which skip is the hardest because they all differ. But I think we'll agree that we can put them all in the hard tier. Yeah, I guess we're done with all the skips and tricks of this game. At least the ones which I know or thought of being worth mentioning here. I bet there are some tricks which I have missed or didn't include in this video, and please don't fucking hate me, okay? Relax, I tried my best. Anyway, I really hope you did enjoy this video. It really took me a long time to finish this, but I'm slowly getting more comfortable doing these. In case you're wondering, my runs are now unlisted and sorted in a playlist on my channel, so you can watch all my runs there. I'm also live streaming sometimes, so make sure to check me out sometime when I go live. Again, thanks to all the guys who commented on my last video and gave me feedback. You really made my day. Especially you guys reacting with Riggy in stream, man. I don't know what to say. Also, don't forget to check out our Discord. Link in the description. Anyway, outro time.